Bit of breaking news this morning.
Some absolutely huge breaking news this morning, Ger, because Rugby Australia have issued a statement in conjunction with New South Wales Rugby Union saying that it is their intention to terminate the contract of Israel Folau after the latest of his homophobic Instagram posts yesterday, where he suggested that homosexuals, among others, would be going to hell. Now, this statement has only just come in the last couple of minutes. I'll actually read it out here. Rugby Australia Chief Executive Raylene Castle and New South Wales Rugby Union CEO Andrew Hoare have issued the following statement in relation to Israel Folau. Rugby Australia and the New South Wales Rugby Union have made repeated attempts to contact Israel both directly and via his representative since 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, and at this point he has failed to communicate directly with either organisation. Whilst Israel is entitled to his religious beliefs, the way in which he expressed those beliefs is inconsistent with the values of the sport. We want to make it clear that he does not speak for the game with his recent social media posts. Israel has failed to understand that the expectation of him as a Rugby Australia and New South Wales Waratahs employee is that he cannot share material on social media that condemns, vilifies or discriminates against people on the basis of their sexuality. Rugby is a sport that continuously works to unite people. We want everyone to feel safe and welcome in our game, and no vilification based on race, gender, religion or sexuality is acceptable, and no language that isolates, divides or insults people based on any of those factors can be tolerated. As a code, we have made it clear to Israel formally and repeatedly that any social media posts or commentary that is in any way disrespectful to people because of their sexuality will result in disciplinary action. In the absence of compelling mitigating factors, it is our intention to terminate his contract. Now, it's barely 2 months ago that Folau actually signed a new multi-million-dollar contract with the New South Wales Waratahs to stay in Australia until the end of 2022. So, this is an absolutely huge step. Only yesterday they said they were going to investigate the social media posts. I don't think anyone expected something like this to happen so quickly. And I'd say a lot of people as well they were probably expecting another rap on the knuckles, maybe a fine, but this is absolutely huge from them. It's a massive step, and naturally I would say maybe there might be some sponsor pressure. I know Qantas, one of the big sponsors yesterday, they came out and said it was unacceptable as well, in line with the Wallaby statement.
There had been pressure from the sponsors previously, so it's like, look, it's not that we should be driven by sponsors, but it is interesting that sponsors are flexing their muscles and stuff like this, and you know, they are part of society too, and they feel like they have a responsibility. The post was that hell awaits for drunks, homosexuals, adulterers, liars, fornicators, thieves, atheists, idolaters, and those that are living in sin will end up in hell unless you repent. So you're just shacked up and you're on Israel's shit list.
What is interesting as well, though, is because there have been a few players actually who liked that post initially and have since unliked it. Like a couple of Wallabies, Samu Karevi and Alan Alatoa, both liked it, have since unliked it. Same as well applies to Francis Saili, used to play for Munster. He initially liked it yesterday, I spotted that. Waisaki Naholo, current All Black. Right. So there are a few players that, you know, appear anyway to have given their backing to it, only for maybe someone had a word with them and said, please unlike that. But, you know, these things get seen.
I wonder how many atheists read that and were like, oh God, that's actually a really good point.
I'm going to hell.
I'm going to hell, yeah.
I feel
God, there is a God actually, and the anti-God is going to eat me up if I continue to disbelieve.
I'm worried now that Israel has shown me the light that I'm also going to hell.
I don't know, did you see Joe Marler on Twitter yesterday? He won Twitter yesterday. He won the day. He just tweeted, you know, Joe Marler, Harlequins, former England player. Probably not everyone's favourite player in the world a lot of the times, but everyone's favourite player yesterday, because he just tweeted Israel Folau a gif of two very muscular, burly men shifting the face off each other. which was just brilliant.
It's one way of answering him.
There was a cover of a magazine, which was an LGBT magazine from, I don't know, was it the middle of the last decade, where Israel Folau
2014, I think it was.
Was it? Israel Folau was on the front cover of it. So something's changed in his life.
Promoting I think it was an LGBT kind of rugby festival or competition.
Yeah. Something has changed in his life that has led him down this path of extreme right-wing conservatism. I don't know what that is, and you kind of would hope that people become more open as life goes on, but clearly that's not happening at the moment. There is a community of people who believe the thing that Israel Folau believed, including all those people who liked his tweets.
I mean, there are almost close to 15,000 people like that Instagram post yesterday, which is, equally as worrying.
There is a culture of people who just swipe on Instagram and just click like all the time. Like this jumped out at you though. It was massive, bold letters.
Fair enough. I don't think it's something that you just see a post and you just kind of liked away on it. You would have noticed immediately, like, I don't know, do you still have it there in front of you? The word hell is pretty big in front of the screen.
I didn't actually have the actual post. Is the post still up? He's just like...
It was. I saw it about an hour ago was when I last looked at it.
Well, if he's getting sacked, he's going to double down on it now, right? And so he becomes a martyr for that grim subsection of society who believes
free speech, etc., etc.
And also those people who espouse these beliefs and who live it on a day-to-day basis and who spread their hate wherever it can go. So, but the other thing that happens out of this is that he goes to a club in France almost immediately, right? Like next week, he could be on a plane to France to play. Is there a French transfer window? Is there but then players who are out of contract must be available to sign at any time, right? So effectively, he becomes a free agent, or is there a chance that he ends up playing in the playoffs in England, like on a short-term deal?
I think it would be pretty tough I think, for a lot of teams to sign him. I think you would at least need the dust to settle for them to get away with it from a PR point of view.
Maybe if you're
also as well, they haven't said he is sacked as of this moment. They say it is our intention to sack him or to terminate his contract in the absence of compelling mitigating factors. They haven't actually been able to speak to him yet, they've said.
Okay.
They haven't been able to make any contact either directly through him or his representative. So they say it's their intention to terminate the contract, which is a pretty strong thing to say. There would want to be some pretty compelling evidence to overturn that, though.
In terms of like a club potentially signing him and not getting bad publicity for it, if only it was a year where there was another big rugby event happening where for your club you could quietly slip Israel Folau in while Ireland are getting battered by the Springboks at the same time and everybody's talking about the World Cup.
There's not a hope you could quietly go about that signing. Even if it happened in the middle of a World Cup. He is, arguably he is definitely one of the best rugby players in the world, definitely one of the most talented, comfortably one of the most high-profile players. There's no way you're just casually slipping that signing in under the radar.
Not true.
Yeah, okay. We should talk about some other bits and pieces that are going on in the world. Not casually under the radar, but like if you are... So I don't want to pick a club in France for fear of, tarring them all with the same brush. But if you are like a slightly out there owner of a club in France who clearly doesn't care about what the rest of the world says, if one of those characters existed in a fictional world, and you've got a need in a position because of something else that's already happened this year with somebody you invested lots of money in, you're like, yeah, I'll take this guy for 6 weeks. I don't care. I'm going to win the title. Or are they still even in competition?
No, they're nowhere near winning the title.
Are they? But are they definitely going to qualify for Champions Cup next year? They probably are they? My top 14's table knowledge is letting me down. God damn you. Insufficient knowledge of top 14's league standings. All right, come on, talk amongst yourselves there.
And they
definitely need to, well, can they still qualify? 6 teams qualify, do they?
Shows it there.
So they're like say they were a bottom half club in the table. I can see Toulon signing him.
Good to go.
You can